Welcome back to Hidden Blessings Homestead. In today's video, we're going to take a walk. My mom was wanting to do some medicinal plant identification around the homestead here, and I thought at the same time it'd be a great time for me to gather some of those herbs that I've been wanting to gather to make our cold and flu tea. So stick around. So I like to just collect into bags as I go. The first thing we're going to collect is our red clover. They're just starting to open. So when we're collecting red clover, we're just going to nip off the top. Just a little bit of leaves that come on the blossom there. I have some competition. It's really easy to collect. You want to collect red clover in the spring. Leave the fall red clover for the bees. Red clover makes a great blood purifier, and so we can make tea out of this. It's good for cancer. It's good for colds and flus. You can also make creams out of the red clover. There's so many uses for it. Next, we're going to gather our raspberry leaves. You want to gather the fresh, young growth. It is preferable to gather them before they start to set buds and blossom, but I think we'll still be okay. So I'm just going to gather the young, fresh tips. We're gathering now from a cultivar that fruits on last year's cane as well as sets up new shoots for this fall, and so that's why we're able on this variety to get lots of green, fresh leaves, even though the older canes up here are a little tougher and are already flowering. But then you have these new soft canes that are coming up this year, and so they have lots of fresh growth. Raspberry leaves are so good for you. One of my favorite winter teas for cold and flu season has raspberry, red clover, yarrow, elderberries, which our elderberries aren't quite flowering yet, but we're going to gather some of the other ingredients. So the key is to grab the stem right here. You can grab the stem without the leaves touching you and poke it off and then put it in your bag. Another great herb to add to my cold and flu tea is yarrow. Yarrow has many other uses as well though. You can use the leaves to help stop bleeding. You can dehydrate them and make a powder that can be sprinkled on wounds. And that's just a couple of the uses for yarrow. It's just past the middle of June and they're just beginning to flower. So I'm going to harvest a few, but I'm going to come back later because there's a lot more that could be harvested. Oh, a little treat I wanted to show you. Isn't that beautiful? Obviously she found some of our string to decorate with. Yes, Mama, it's okay. I will most definitely not hurt your nest. Last year, I'm not sure if it was the same one, but we had a nest in the peach tree in the greenhouse. And she would freak out every time I came in to harvest anything. Alright, so here, right beside each other, we have red clover, yarrow, and mullein. Right now we're going to harvest the mullein. So I don't know if I'm going to come across any first year mullein. This is second year mullein and it's about to flower. And the flowers are really good to add to an ear oil for earaches, and also for the dogs. We use, it's a garlic, I'm trying to think what all's in it. Garlic, mullein flower, calendula, and St. John's wort, I believe. Mix, and it's in an oil that you can put in the ears. Anyways, mullein is, the leaves themselves are what I'm gathering today. And we've had first-hand experience when my husband had laryngitis and he had to speak at our church. And I think he drank 2 cups, maybe altogether there was maybe 10 leaves before his voice came back. But we always find that, although I'm going to be dehydrating it, I always find that if you can get it fresh, it's more potent, which usually things are more potent dried. But in this case, we find it works better fresh. That doesn't stop me from having some dried on hand when needed. What a beautiful plant, and you should see when it flowers. It is just gorgeous. If you wait too long in the season to collect the leaves, they start to get buggy. As you can see, some of them are already starting to, but we've got lots of good leaves here. So we found that if you clear a spot, till a spot, disturb the soil, you are likely to get mullein coming up afterwards. The seeds stay dormant for quite a while. I'm just going to use my salad spinner to wash up my herbs before laying them in the dehydrator. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow, beautiful. Just want to wash away any bugs or dirt. All right, we're going to strain and spin those. So we've spun out our herbs. We're just going to lay them out. I'm going to nip off the stems so that it's literally just blossom and the leaves. So we are all finished. For the last layer I only had a bit of yarrow, so I put it with the mullein. Nettle. And last but not least, our beautiful clover. So it's a little dark in here, but for herbs and spices, we want to put it on the lowest setting. So 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 Celsius. So as you can see, they are nice and crisp, ready to come out. I'm going to start with the red clover, I think. So we're just going to stick them in an amber jar. it's sealed, we'll just label it and put it in our pantry. When I have all my ingredients dehydrated, I will mix up my tea proportionately.